What's up, guys? Back to you guys with another video. How have you guys been, guys? Like, what have you been working on the past few days? So today we're going to be talking about WebSockets in Golang. That's what I'm currently learning, and yeah. So let's basically get into it. So I basically told you guys, I plan to share my journey learning Go, and probably I'm gonna create a video next, probably explaining why I chose to learn Go. But without further ado, let's go into some WebSockets, right? So what is a WebSocket? So according to Google, or if you just go and search and you go to the first link from Mozilla, right? So a web the WebSocket API is an advanced technology that makes it possible for a two-way interactive communication session between the user's browser and a server. With this API, you can send messages to a server and receive event-driven responses without having to poll the server for a reply. So this is a very important technology for anyone who has successfully built an HTTP server, which the client has to, send a request and get a response. It's a one-way communication stream, meaning the server cannot call the client. The client has to call the server, and that's when the server can send a response. So after that response has been sent, the connection is closed. But with a WebSocket, it starts off as an HTTP request, but it's upgraded to a WebSocket request, and that connection stays open for as long as um, required. And the server can send messages to the client, and the client can also send messages to the server. So we're going to build a simple Go WebSocket, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So let's just close this page and go over to our Golang code. So we're currently in our main.go, and we're gonna write some code. So I hope to explain everything properly to you guys. And let's go. So I'm gonna just skip the import for now and just write the main function, because I imagine to import everything I need. So we're gonna be using Gorilla WebSockets because I think that's the official Golang WebSocket library. So if you go to Google and you just type Golang WebSockets, that's the first result you see. And even if you click on the Golang WebSockets package, it directs you to the Mozilla implementation of it. So I can imagine this would be the official implementation, but it's the Mozilla implementation that Go recommends. Sorry, the Gorilla Mux, the Gorilla implementation. I don't know what I was saying. Mozilla. So you would have to install this, obviously using GoGet. If you don't already have it installed. Let's just skip this and go to the GitHub and just go over the docs real quick. So you can see Gorilla. So you use this command to install it if you don't have it installed on your computer. So I will probably have to do that, but let's just start our code and I will explain things to you guys. Okay, so the first thing we will do is we're going to create an object from the Gorilla Mux package called an upgrader. And I'll explain what this stuff is. So let's just say WebSocket. Actually, let's init our package. Let's go mod so we don't have any issues. Go mod init. I'm gonna just use my GitHub real quick. github.com/Henry. Then let's just call it WebSockets. um, yeah, so I think that has been added. Then I think we can use our go gets now. Get our gorilla mux. So we have added it, so we can use it now. I think. Um, I think I probably have to import it. Alright, so we have the struct, so we can look for the upgrader struct, right? Alright, so this is what we would use to upgrade our connection from an HTTP to a WebSocket. So we would also go over the docs. Actually, I may not go over the docs. I'll just kind of explain what everything is to you guys. So we're gonna assign this to a variable called upgrader. Alright. So this struct has like a couple of fields. If you like um hover over it, you can see all the fields, but we would not use we would use the defaults. The only thing we would change is the check origin, because we want to allow cars on this project, and I would explain why. Actually, I'll probably explain why later. So this is what we'll do. So we have our upgrader, right? And next thing we are going to do is we'll just basically create a simple HTTP handler. And obviously this would be on our default mux. So the route we'll use is WebSock. So we'll use this route, and let's create our HTTP. Obviously, I'm using an inline function, but you don't have to. But since we're just creating one handler, yeah, I think I'm just gonna do everything in one line. So this is where our request would coming to, and we are going to upgrade our request within this handler function, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to carry our upgrader object, and we're going to call, so we're going to call the upgrader, I think I'm going to move this as, we're going to call the upgrader dot upgrade. So this is like a function we have access to, and we're just going to pass in the response writer and the request, and we're going to pass in, what was the last thing? I think we're going to pass in nil. So let's see the thing. So yeah, so what we're passing in is our response writer and our request, and I think next episode pass is our response header, right? Yeah, our response writer, a request, and then a response header. But for the response header is nil for now. So this upgrades our connection. So what we get out of this is we get our connection and an error. So let's assign that. So we get a new connection, which we're going to just call con, and we're going to get an error as well. So let's so we have those two items. Then next we're going to do is just check if there's an error. So we're going to do an error check. Make sure the error is clean. Error is not equals to nil. And this print. Alright, so if there's an error, we essentially log that error. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to defer the close of the connection. So we're just going to say connection.close. So obviously this defer runs after every single thing in this function has run. So as soon as the function is completed, it will close the connection. So that's why we need to add that. And we officially have an HTTP connection. If everything here goes well, we should have this connection struct or object, and we can use it to communicate with the client. So I think we can test this and see if it works. And yeah, so the next thing we'll do is let's just create our server. So we have our handler, so we're just going to create our server really quick. So I'm gonna say http listen and serve, and we're gonna put address. I'm not going to use port 8080 because I think I have something there. So I'm going to use port 8050. But obviously, if you're running it on your computer, you can use port 8080. It doesn't really matter. And for the handler, I don't think I need to put the handler, right? There's a default handler. Yeah, there's a default handler. So I'll put nil. And obviously, this will return an error. So we can just log the error if there's an error. But before we do that, let's print that the server is running. Server running on port 8050. And we're going to handle this error, put it inside a log. I think, okay, cool. So this should handle the error. And yeah, we should have our server completed. Invalid port pair. So I can't use 8050 or what? Can I? Let me see what's going on. I say 8060. I don't think this error is supposed to exist, man. I don't think this error is supposed to exist. 8050. Let's just save. Okay, the error shouldn't exist. I don't know why we're showing that. Alright, so let's run our server and just see that it runs. So we're gonna clear this real quick. Let me drag this up. So we're gonna save run main.go. Go run main.go. So our server is running. That's cool. let's see what's wrong. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a client that would communicate with our server. So let's just do this real quick. So so we have our main.go here. What we're going to do really quick is we're going to create a folder called clients, and this will just have some HTML code that we can use to communicate with our server. So index.html. So we're gonna scaffold an HTML document, and we're gonna call it web server. Need to build our client. So we're gonna just build a simple client that just allows us to know if we're connected to our server, and also allows us to receive messages from our server. So let's see. This client will just have so we have a body. We're gonna just have a list. So we're gonna have an ordered list, right? And let's see, above the list we're gonna have we're just gonna have a p tag that will let us know if we're connected. We're gonna put an ID. I'm gonna put connect, and we're gonna have this list, and we're gonna put an ID for this, and just say body, and we're gonna create an li, an empty li, and we're just gonna call this message. We're gonna put an ID and call this message. So let's create this. So yeah, we have our so if we go back to WebSockets, right, you can see there's a way to connect to a WebSocket from the clients. So let's see. Yeah, so this is how you connect to a WebSocket using JavaScript. You call the new WebSocket, then you pass in the WebSocket URL. So one thing to note is that instead of HTTP, it has this WS. So this is how we interact with WebSockets. So and then for each event, we have an event handler that basically handles it. So I think we can copy this and put it in our HTML. So we're just going to create a script tag after the body. I'm just going to create a script. So we have our script, and we're just going to paste this stuff here. I'm going to change this to port localhost 8050. So we're going to say if the connection is opened. So what we're going to say is that once we receive the events that says it's opened. So let's just check something real quick. Yeah, so as soon as we see that it's opened, we would get the document ID of the initial connects tag. So we're going to say connect. So what we're essentially trying to get is this p tag here. So we're going to get that p tag, which we have, connect, and we're going to just say inner text, and we're going to say inner text is equals to the string of connected. Let's say connected to server. So let's save this, and I have live server installed. So I'm just gonna call this server, but I'm not sure our Go is still live. So let's run our Go code first of all. Okay, so we have our Go live. So let's call this live server. So we have our live server. So we obviously have not connected, but let's see. We obviously didn't connect. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't put the URL completely. So it's supposed to be WebSockets. So I'm gonna delete this because I just added it. So, alright, cool. So let's close and run the server again, because I want you guys to see that cross error. Because in case you are trying to run the code on your end and you receive that. WebSock. Alright. Yeah. So as you can see, we received this error that says request origin not allowed by upgrader. So this is the error you would get if you try to connect without properly checking the origin of the request. So you have to check it. So let's just clear up this trash real quick. Okay, I think I need to close the server to clear it. So let's just clear all of this. Alright, so to solve that error, which I have just explained, but I'll explain it again, is you just have to add this little line of code. It's a function that you receive the request, so you obviously use the request to check if it's an allowed domain and check whatever things you have to check before you return this true. But we aren't running any checks currently, we're just returning true. So this will allow anybody to connect to our WebSocket, right? So let's refresh this. I hope it works. Alright guys, so as you can see, everything is checked off clean. It says we're connected to the server. So yeah guys, so this is you're officially connected to the server. So if you come here and check your network, right, check the requests that have been made, you can see there's a WebSocket that's currently open right now. So yeah, so now let's send some messages to the client and basically display it on the screen, and this will be a fairly simple code. So this can just kind of give you some ideas of the things you can do with WebSocket. So let's go back to our HTML. So we're going to listen for a message. So we're going to say on message, right? We are not going to console the message, but what we're going to do is we're going to display the message on our client. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to get this is our list here. This is our list. So we would get that. So we're gonna say document get item by ID, get item, get element by ID, sorry. I'm going to just put a string and say body. So we're going to assign this to a variable, var body equals to this. All right, cool. And then we are going to create a new list. So we're going to create a new list item. So we have one empty list here, but we're going to create a new one. So what we're going to say is var list equals to document dot create element. We're going to create the element. So we're going to create element, and the element we want to create is obviously an li. So a list. So we're going to now take that list that we just created. I'm going to say inner HTML is equals to our events. So the events we receive dot data, and we're going to append this to the body. So we're going to say body dot append child, and we're going to append the list onto our body. So that's pretty simple. Let me see, is that all? Yeah. So this is essentially all we're doing. So we're going to get all the events that we receive from the server, and we're going to append it to the body. So now let's send some messages from the server. So let's just close this. Let's just go back to Zen mode. Alright. So we have our connection here, as you can see. So from here we have our connection. So from here onwards we can use the connection to do whatever we have to do. So the same way HTTP requests kind of work, if you have like looked into the code, right? You create an infinite for loop, but in this case we will not create an infinite loop, but ideally this is what you would do. You would create an infinite loop like this, and you would just put in all your logic inside the loop, right? And then that's generally how people work with this. But we're going to create an actual for loop that sends an amount of items to the client. So I don't want this double header. Let's just say less than equals to 10. So we're going to send 10 things. Alright, so while we're inside this loop, what we are going to do is we're going to take our connection, right? And we're going to check. We have a method called write message, which we're going to use. So we're going to take that, and this essentially takes our message type. So message type basically an int that just defines what type of message it is. So they are constants for it, right? So we're going to just use some of the ones they have. So WebSocket, I'm going to say text message. So it's an int, and this int is 1. So we have the int. So then the message is a slice of bytes. So we're going to just put a slice of bytes. Then within that slice, we're going to put in our message, which will be a string, and we'll just say hello world, and let's save. So everything looks cool, no errors. So let's close our server and rerun it. and let's see if that works. So close our server, let's rerun it. Alright, so let's refresh this page. So as you can see guys, we got our messages. So we have all our messages here. This first one is the empty I'm coming guys. I'm trying to leave this Zen mode. Alright guys, okay, cool. So yeah, this first one we see is the empty one, right? So I think we can even take that out, right? So I think we can take that out. And instead of having an unordered list, let's try having an ordered list. Let's see, because I want to see the numbers. An ordered list. Let's see. What do you have to change? I think everything is cool. So let's refresh. Yeah. So as you can see, we got 10 items from the server. You can see we're connected. So if you have gone this far, you have successfully created your first web socket. And I also want to show you guys something else, right? Within this code. So we have our simple web sock, and it's basically sends us 10 messages. So what will happen if we want to send like 8,000 messages, right? So let's see what happens. I think I need to close and restart the server. Let's restart it. Alright, let's refresh. You can see we got we got all our messages, and it's pretty fast guys. Like, it's pretty fast. But I want to do something really cool that just kind of shows you guys, you know, the practicality of a web server. So what I will do right now is that I would create like a sleep. So we're going to use a time class to kind of sleep this call for like a little bit. So sleep time the seconds, obviously not microseconds. And we're gonna just say 2 seconds, or like 1 second. So let's close the server and restart it. So this would send a message every second. So it will happen like instantly. So if we refresh, you can see we get our messages, our connection is up, everything is working, and this will send a message every second. So almost every like social network, every trading website, every highly interactive, every chat application, every highly reactive database all use web servers. This is how they maintain the connection to the clients. As you can see, this would go to reaches 1,000 guys. So hope you enjoyed this video, because I really enjoyed learning about web servers, and we're going to build upon this knowledge, and we're going to be creating a chat application in the following days or weeks. So if you're interested in that, please smash the subscribe button guys. Smash it. And yeah, hope you enjoy building web sockets. I've been saying web servers for like God knows how long guys, but you know what I mean guys. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later. Bye.